you said you wanted to make your mark, so to speak. But was there anything else you tried to do that would, get you hired for the next session? Like, did you try to always get someone's number? Was it always like, hey, what are you working on next? What was your approach to that thing? Because I guess it was more than just playing, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, all the other parts about your work ethic, bringing a good attitude in, and just being kind of you know, humbled by the invitation, and all those things are kind of just a given that are part of the show, and then yeah, I mean, usually if you've not worked with somebody, there's probably exchange contact information, but the best thing you do is leave something that when you walk out that door leaves the person wanting more.
Hmm.
And so um, I I've never been one of those guys that kind of called asking for gigs or
Right.
kind of bugged people. Even when I got here, just kind of um, sat patiently and looked at the phone, waiting for it to ring for a couple months.
Right. And how do you handle those moments where it might not ring, like you said, for a few months?
Yeah, that was sort of the end of 1979, and then from 1980, it pretty much I found myself working every day. It was like it was fantastic because you know sometimes you just catch the timing just right, and there's a little void, I guess. Uh, you know, when the guy before you that's doing all the work decides he wants to do something else or leaves town or something, there's a nice, and so I walked into a nice little opening there
Right.
in Los Angeles, and for a bass, and
Right.
I literally found myself working every single day.
Right. That's awesome. I mean, see, basically,
Yeah, it
yeah,
was
it
awesome.
got momentum that never stopped.
Yeah, and again, I realized that you know it's a finite thing. It can't go on forever. So that's even more inspiration to try to make what you play. So here 40 years later, I'm still trying to play something that'll get me the call back.
Right. Right. Yeah, that makes
Because there's a
sense.
lot of great players out there.
Hmm. I mean, because I interviewed also Lee Sklar, and when I was looking around the internet, have you guys almost like traded jobs sometimes? Like sometimes
Yeah,
you play with some of his acts, and I don't know if he maybe got some of yours.
yeah. We both have been members of Toto.
Yeah,
We've
exactly.
both
Yeah.
been members of Phil Collins' band. And it's kind of flip flops too, because then you get busy. So like I guess that's good because if one can't make it, the other knows the book just as equally as well. So
Exactly.
it's been fun too, and Lee's phenomenal bass player and wonderful guy. Dear friend,
Hmm.
and I think the world of his playing and him as a human being. And I think your humanity somehow kind of slips into your playing as well. And I think that's why somebody like Lee is always working. Because
Right.
people love the guy. His look is fantastic. He's
Yeah.
funny and he's great to be around. I mean, really, really a fun guy to be around. And from speaking to him, he's hysterical.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, yeah, because I was speaking to him about the same sort of thing, like what he did, to keep that momentum going, and I assume you also always came in prepared, right? There was never, I mean, maybe depending on the session itself, but I assume you knew what you were going to do before you got in, right?
Yeah, not always, but you walk into a situation that your antennas have to be up and you have to be ready for anything. So you're kind of in there. I always look at it as like we're just in there to serve a
Hmm.
big picture. So we're just a small part of a big puzzle.
Right.
And when we go in there, um, we have to be sort of our open architecture and our thinking.
Hmm. But did you ever have as a bass player the maybe in the beginning like the urge to show people what you can do, or it was always about the song for you?
No, you have a little bit of both. You want to let people know. I mean, bass players like Jocko came out. Everybody wanted to be Jocko, and
Right.
so yeah, there's a lot of that, especially in your younger days where you just have this kind of energy and kind of there's no governor on on what you do, So yeah, everybody wants to be that guy, but for me, experience just teaches you that literally it's one note at a time. It's like this has to be perfect for this moment in time, and for me, music is. Oops, sorry about it. I got another call. I'll just.
No worries.
Thanks. Yeah. So for me, music ends up being something that you're always analyzing the moment that's before you. There's not, and a lot of people practice and prepare before they go in to perform a certain piece or whatever, but there's nothing that prepares you for what's going to be happening at that moment in real time, especially if they play something different. It's kind of like driving. You don't know who's going to turn in front of you every day,
right.
And so it becomes, every day becomes a time when you have to be in the moment while you're driving to stay out of an accident.
Exactly.
To get to where you're going to go.
Yeah.